to number 5.
My number 5.
Your number 5, Joe.
My number 5 is Parks and Rec.
I have it higher.
All right.
Ooh, I don't have it at all.
Okay.
Really?
You know what's funny is I'm like
You're
looking at this and I
insane.
go, I did not put like a sitcom in there.
Okay.
Like most of mine are sitcoms.
and I will say this: it's possible that not putting Parks and Rec on here was a mistake.
Oh,
Okay.
huge.
Seems like a mistake.
But
the 2010s
like an
was
oversight.
sitcom city.
well, let's go with my number 5,
Little Sebastian frowns on
Fine.
you.
Rick and Morty.
Ooh,
Not on my list, but just for technicalities, we can talk about it.
same.
Well, we are talking about it
Yeah.
right now.
I guess let's do it.
I wanted a cartoon,
Mm-hmm.
I think,
That's
and
fun.
and it's one of those things where it's like, oh man, it started. Rick and Morty was 2013 to question mark.
Right.
But it's one of those. It's been every couple years, a season gets pooped,
They just announced, that the
Mhm.
latest season is coming out soon.
and the next season's
Nice.
coming out soon. And it's just a good show, good cartoon. It's Dan Harmon, and I love Dan Harmon.
Which is great.
So I didn't watch a lot of Community, so Community's not on my list at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I do love like Dan
Unfortunate.
Harmon's writing
Mhm.
and what that's going. And I just loved Rick and Morty. Every time Rick and Morty comes on, it seems like it's kind of like a phenomenon. It's a thing. Everyone's watching
Yeah.
Rick and Morty when
Yeah.
it's airing.
I feel like a lot of the things that make Rick and Morty what it is are very divisive. I guess not divisive in like, just in a way that like a lot of people are going to love it. A lot of people are not going to like it.
I mean, Rick and Morty
Yeah.
is what it is, and it's unapologetic
Yeah.
for what it is. So
It's-
if it offends you, then it's like, that's too bad. Don't watch it.
Yeah, it's very crude, and that's only one piece of it. But other than that, it's like it's very referential. There's so many like pop culture references. It's
Yeah.
very sci-fi. It like goes deep into like the sci-fi tropes that it does. It's
Very tropey.
yeah,
But it's like parodying the tropes,
hmm
which in itself is so Dan Harmon.
and like just those two things, like the references to other things and deep into sci-fi. I feel like other people can just be like, I don't want to have to like do research to watch this show. I'm out.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
and like maybe like what you think a typical cartoon was, like for instance, like, you know, Bart's Never Gotten Older, you
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
like Bob's Burgers is like essentially locked in the
Ooh.
same timeline.
Mhm.
That
like
was
forever.
almost also on my list.
I thought about that one
but
too,
it's
for
not
sure.
done
Good
yet.
show.
But it's like that, but like season 1 ends and has mega implications onto season 2 that have
Yeah.
mega implications into season 3. So this show is like not a classical cartoon in the way of like one episode, just one episode, and if like the earth blows up in that episode, then it doesn't fucking matter the next one.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Like everything matters in
Yeah.
this show.
And maybe to go along with that too, it is very dark and like touches on things
It's an-
like mental health and depression that
Mhm.
like again, a lot of people don't want to watch a show like that.
Right. But
Yeah.
but it also I mean I think in more ways than not it actually has like kind of a good message, you know, through its like being crass
Yeah.
and like if you're somebody that doesn't mind that, or you can get over that, you can kind of, they're like every like shows have like meaning.
Well, and that crassness is part of it. Like one of my favorite episodes of this show is the Pickle Rick episode.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Where essentially the premise is like Rick turns himself into a pickle to go on this crazy adventure, but it's all in service of him avoiding going to therapy.
Yeah, he doesn't have to go to therapy with his daughter.
Yeah, and then at the end of the episode, like his therapist gives him this speech about like how like therapy isn't an adventure. I know it's not fun, but it's a thing you need to do to like help yourself get better.
Mhm.
And he's just like, fuck it, I'm a pickle.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Yeah.
I want to watch it right now.
It's very, I feel like maybe people that are detractors maybe don't quite understand what it's going for.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things that I totally get. Also, like, I mean, it's just like people see cartoon and they just say nah, you know, like
Yeah.
and like
Sure.
and that works with a lot of things. Like some people will see like a film noir maybe or something like that, and like like
Yeah.
you know, black and white, no, or like
Yeah.
you know,
Subtitles them out.
no.
Yeah.
Like there's things that you just don't like.
Yeah.
And so those are like barriers to entry.
feel
So
like
like
you're just,
literally
like-
just going, I'm 40 and it's a cartoon. I don't watch
I
cartoons.
feel like you're subtweeting Claire right now.
I mean, Rick and Morty's not on PBS, so Claire's not watching it.
It didn't end up on my list because they had just announced this most recent season, and I had kind of figured, okay, it's probably the last season because Dan Harmon's not reliable. But then I had Googled, and their new contract is for 70 more episodes.
And they're only like 10 or
That's a
14.
couple
Yeah,
more-
per season.
Yeah.
So I was
couple
like,
more
holy
seasons.
shit, like this is going.
Dang, good
So,
for them.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, obviously, I would love to have a Rick and Morty new season every year on Clockwork like
Yeah.
normal. But if they keep turning out how they have been, like great seasons with a lot of like meaning and
Yeah.
just good, then you know what? Take your time, man.
The thing that they had said was that like it had taken a lot of time for the previous seasons because there was some uncertainty on like they're only being renewed for another 10 episodes, so they're working on other things. But now that they have this 70 episode contract, it's like we're focusing on Rick and Morty
becoming
now.
their focus.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So maybe it'll be more consistent.
Yeah. It didn't make my list. It's like slid down beyond 10 for the same reason that there's just kind of no end in sight. Same thing with Bob's Burgers. Yeah, it's just written so well and it's so good. I do get like it. So 2013 it started.
Yeah.
So that's admirable. That's the bulk.
I mean,
of
if
the,
it was being a regular show,
you
it
know.
would be in like its 7th season,
Right.
You know,
So-
6th season,
right. So
It's just it's on a weird timeline.
yeah. In 10 years, I'll look back and when we redo the top shows of this decade, I'll add Rick and Morty.
Yep. Top college age shows.
Yeah. Specifically, my number 5 is Netflix's own, Marvel's own Daredevil.
Okay. Anyone else? No?
I wrote it down in my list of like 35 like shows that were in a thing, and I would say Daredevil hands down is the best Marvel TV show that
Okay.
has been out in the past
Yeah.
like decade, or probably more.
Absolutely.
And it's a good show.
What are the years and seasons?
15 to 18, 3 seasons, 39 eps.
And it just got
Netflix drama, so it's like 55 minutes.
and it just got canceled, but it probably just got canceled because Disney owns the world and wants
Yeah.
Just take it back.
because Disney Plus, you know.
You've
Disney.
seen all of it?
Yeah.
I've seen the first season up until like the hallway fight.
The hallway fights.
Yeah.
And they have
Yeah,
one of those
the
fights like
hallway
every
fight.
season, you
Yeah.
know.
The hallway fight. So it's a long shot of like a choreographed fight scene. That's just makes me
Yeah.
drool a little bit.
I just hung on until that because I heard that it was a thing I needed to see. So
Yeah. It
And
is.
did you see it and did you like it?
I enjoyed the fight scene.
Do you like how do you feel about long shots in movies? Like do you
Oh,
do
yeah,
you see
very
long shots
impressed.
in your you are
It's
impressed.
something I look for in shows and movies. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Back to Children of Men that you talked about earlier. They
Yeah,
have a
that's-
long shot in that
There's
movie.
like a couple, but there's one really.
There's
long
one where they
It's like
like
the one in the car.
no, it's the one
Oh.
where he like transverses like on foot like a couple city blocks. And he
Yeah.
goes like upstairs and downstairs. It's like and there's
And
gunfire
through
and bombs and
stuff
shit.
Yeah.
blowing up.
They I mean they do clever tricks and stuff like where they cross they run through a doorway and it goes black for a second. So it's
a quick cut.
maybe it is a quick cut, maybe it's not. It all depends on the
That
integrity
one
of
really
the
long
director.
one. There's no cuts at all
Yeah.
because that director's really into doing that.
Yeah.
But
But Daredevil.
Daredevil, I think it's really
So he's blind.
It's really well casted. Charlie Cox plays a brilliant blind person.
Yeah.
Not a blind person at all.
I don't know
Vi-
any
great
actual blind people, but I
baddies.
feel like he does a good job of pretending to be blind.
Vincent, I don't know how he's D'Onofrio, the guy from Jurassic World. He's an incredible actor. He's
Who
the
is he?
Kingpin.
Okay.
And he's an excellent Kingpin. They do a great job of explaining the baddie. So each season has like a big bad, and they do a great job of giving them a backstory. It's not just a evil person. It's he had, here's his childhood and going back, and
They
it's
make him
a dark show.
They do a good job of making a bad guy be a bad guy, but for like reasons why the bad guy believes in himself.
Like you can relate to these people.
The best kind of evil person is the person who thinks he's doing it to be good.
Right. He's not just an evil bad guy. He's
Exactly.
he's a guy that's just
Like,
got
I'm going to destroy the
and
kids
each-
because the kids are. I hate kids.
Because-
Like,
and
because
literally-
they've got heavenly faces.
and literally
because I'm so bad.
each season like has a character, a big bad like that. So it's very like each season is kind of its own kind of series. And they have great like direction, like from the first episode to the end. The second one is the Punisher one with the guy from The Walking Dead, whose name I should have looked up because I really
The guy
like
from
him.
Walking Dead.
And then that spun off into its own series, which is also very good. Did not make my list, but
Pretty good. Yeah, I would say
you
Daredevil, very, very good comic book show. If you're into comic books by any means, it's a very good comic book show.
The best Marvel show, you said.
TV show, yes, for sure.
What's the
yeah,
worst Marvel show?
Studios.
Iron Fist?
Is that the white guy that like
The
does karate?
Yeah.
That first season.
I mean, in all fairness,
was
in the comic,
bad.
I think he's a white guy that does karate too. So it's not like they took an Asian dude and like made him white.
They
for the
didn't make
TV
it
show.
worse.
Yeah, they didn't make it worse. It just didn't start out that great.
Marvel's Inhumans on ABC was really bad.
That got
too.
like quickly canceled, right?
It got quickly canceled, and they had put a bunch of money into it.
I'm pausing the podcast, but not really. Can you take the piece of plant off the floor, Joe? So Pete the cat won't like eat plant.
Do cats not eat plants?
He's just not supposed to eat that plant.
Stick to meat. That specific.
But you know,
plant.
sorry, Jimmy. You can
meat
keep
first.
going now.
Yeah. What Daredevil's good. Watch it.
Okay, cool. We're at number 4. Round 4. We're nearing the end.
wow.
Yeah, I feel like we've got to
Circling.
like. There's only a few shows left in our top
It's
4.
only
I
one or
think.
two shows
Yeah.
that were in this decade
Yeah.
left.
My number 4 is 30 Rock.
Yeah. Which was my 7. So
Oh, okay. There you go.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what do you say about 30 Rock?
I
mean,
refuse to include sitcoms.
Yeah. What's your deal?
I don't know. I
ran for 7 seasons from 2006 to 2013, so just barely over the ledge to be a 2010s show.
yeah, more a teenager than an
Than
aught.
an aught. Yeah. But yeah, just a really solid comedy from top to bottom. I can't think of
Won a lot of awards too.
I can't think of all of the things that are just like in my normal everyday vernacular that just came from 30 Rock. I just absorbed like 30 Rock as my
quotes.
sense of humor.
It like every minute is a quotable joke in that show.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny.
It's amazing.
Alec Baldwin's a gem.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin won like several Emmys, like back-to-back years for his character.
Yeah.
Emmys in a
Tina-
comedy.
I mean, this is how I kind of discovered Tina Fey.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Oh, man.
she's fucking one of the funniest women in existence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They have that subplot like that they never really address, but of like what's his name? The page.
Kenneth.
Kenneth
being
I was
like
gonna say,
immortal.
Kenneth might be immortal. Like, you know, it's just
Yeah, his age doesn't really align with like a lot of the things he says.
he like does at one point he does like a Lost reference and he's like, "You told me I'd have more time with them, Jacob." Like,
Yeah, a lot of
Nice.
references. Like it's just.
Early Donald Glover writing. Right?
Oh yeah,
He was a writer?
Yeah, he was a writer for 30 Rock.
Incredible.
Tracy
Couple-
Morgan's out of his goddamn mind. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Werewolf Bar Mitzvah is like one of my favorite like Halloween songs.
Scary.
Yes.
Jimmy was on a trivia team named
I was on a
Werewolf
bar
Mitzvah.
trivia team for a long time called Werewolf Bar Mitzvah.
So he loves it.
Great holiday episodes that I pull up for Halloween and Christmas.
You're a household. You and Claire
Every
really
great
enjoy
show.
the holiday themed
Yeah.
episodes.
You would love Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I think we've
They're
done like
very,
a Christmas one of those.
Halloween
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I good pick. Good pick.
No,
I agree,
No
but
disagreements.
Not as good.
You had it at 7.
I had it at 7. Yeah.
You had like Sons of Anarchy over this. Come on.
Okay, that was okay. It's
like
before Sons was 8.
Okay. Just
like
above.
you had like Sons of Anarchy though.
Josh, bleep out these next few phrases from me. Nice.
What's your number 4, Jimmy?
Oh, am I up?
Oh no, Josh.
Oh no, wait, I'm after Joe. I'm
yeah.
after Joe. Number 4,
Yeah.
Screwing up our rhythm.
Black Mirror.
Oh, I had that at what?
You haven't had it yet.
Oh no, it's higher. Yeah.
Dang.
Higher for Black Mirror.
You're like,
Okay, so
We'll get there soon
so
enough.
my 4 is Key and Peele.
Okay, which I had at number 6.
Yeah. 2012 to 2015, 5 seasons, 55 episodes.
I would like to be sold on this.
a couple Emmys.
So, like, was this a show that you watched regularly?
No.
Okay.
This is a show that I discovered later once it was all on Hulu.
Pretty much the same for me. Like, the most of the show that I've seen of this is pretty much on YouTube, just watching clips.
Yeah.
But I just felt like I had to put it on here because I feel like I've probably seen like 70% of the clips on the show
Yeah.
just from YouTube and like,
Yeah.
and I have gone back to
Their
Hulu to go
YouTube's
watch more of the show.
outrageous. They have like billions of hits.
I remember when this first came out, seeing,
Similar to our YouTube.
Billions.
YouTube.com,
Billions.
SNL podcast.
With a B.
I remember seeing like the commercials for this
Oh, you
on,
can say tens of hits. I'm sorry.
on Comedy Central and thinking like that show looks dumb. And then like one time I caught it on like actual TV on Comedy Central and like not knowing what it was, but just like I just saw a random sketch and I was just like, holy shit, this is funny. And then went to the next sketch and I was like, holy shit, this is funny.
Yeah.
Like it was just so like it was pretty weird and like it felt to me like this is a very specific show that like not a lot of people are gonna like. But
Yeah.
I mean, when you put out that much content and that many skits, like some of them are gonna be weird and not a lot of people are gonna get them, but some of them are gonna be pretty broad, like the substitute teacher or
so good.
or the what's the college football bowl or whatever.
Yeah.
Like these things
All
are
the
like
names you can't pronounce.
yeah, these things are like touchstones of like millennial comedy culture.
Yeah. You sold yet?
I'm already sold on it. It's not. Every Key and Peele skit I've ever seen on like YouTube has been just hilarious. It's been amazing, and I love it. And I like skit shows when they're good, you know. And so I don't have a problem with it. I just never like
never
watched
thought
the
of it
show
as a TV show.
Yeah, essentially, to me, that show was just clips on YouTube.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So to me, it was never a show. And honestly, I like up until like maybe a year or two ago, I was like, I didn't even like know that they like had a show kind of thing.
Yeah.
I just thought they were like actors that also had like a crazy good YouTube thing that they did like kind of in concordance with Comedy Central.
They hit a good time where you can make a sketch show, put it together for a TV show, and then like split them up into individual YouTubes and just blow up
and just
that
have
way.
them be viral. I feel like there was a point.
Time.
I feel like there's a point where like they had already gone viral and like they started putting at the end of their YouTube clips like, "Hey, by the way, you could watch this on Comedy Central. Like, this is an actual TV show."
Hey, keep our ratings up so we can keep this thing going.
It's like it was perfect for like YouTube
That
and that
time.
little chunks and that time that it was coming out. Yeah.
But then you miss all the little blurbs. So the first like 2 or 3 seasons, probably 3 at least, the like in betweens, the transitions of the skits is them like doing some like stand up and then playing the clips in front of a live audience.
Kind of like Chappelle's show.
Yeah. In fact, Dave Chappelle's been very vocal about how pissy he is that they just did his show, even though I think
Well, maybe he should have
but
kept
it's-
doing his show, and then
like his show got canceled and then this show came on and anyway. It's pretty funny. You can look that up.
yeah, I'm not sold on this by any means.
I-
It's just
yeah.
like it's one of those. Yeah,
I think the same way for me that I don't really think of it as a TV show as much, but I just felt like because of like the effect that it's had on my mind. Like
I
I just
haven't
had to
seen-
put it on the list.
I also haven't seen nearly as much of it though as
Mm.
either one of you, or like probably a lot of people. Like you
Yeah.
could pretty much say, "Have you seen this Key and Peele skit?" And I would say probably 8 times out of 10, I probably haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But
Do you, Jimmy? Do you have a favorite Key and Peele skit that comes to mind?
The ones that you named are way up there. Substitute teacher and the bowl East-West Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite are the like maitre d's, or what do you call them? The like
The like bellhop guys.
bellhop
like,
ones. It's like they're both bellhops just
Yeah.
talking about like actors in films.
Yeah.
There's one sketch where they talk about how much they love Robert Downey Jr.
Mm-hmm.
and how much they love Val Kilmer. And then talking about how Val Kilmer's career starts like way up and starts coming down, and Robert Downey Jr. starts down like less popular and gains popularity, and they meet in the middle in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang in the same movie. And then at the end of each of those sketches, they keep ramping up about this stuff and like realizing this stuff, and then their like heads blow up or something really weird happens. At
both
the end of that one, they become Iron Man and fly off.
both Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise's careers peaked during
Val
the
Kilmer's.
volleyball scene in Top Gun. I'm just gonna point that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just gonna put that out there.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
cool.
The only other thing I'd say is, because this was my 4, is that if you're into Jordan Peele's like horror movies, which are really really awesome, like Get Out and Us, you like start to see him. They like do some horror.
Mm-hmm.
Like as the show goes on, they start to do more and more like horror comedy stuff. You
Yeah.
see
Mhm.
his like initial like his like intrigue in that, and it's pretty cool to like see that now he's like directing actual amazing horror films.
Mm-hmm.
That's my number 4.
Sweet.
Cool.
Number 3.
My
Time for 3.
my number 3 was Black Mirror, which Josh, you had lower
I had it one lower at 4.
at 4. You
I've
didn't have it
not
all.
seen this
What?
at all. Whoa, it got spooky.
You've turned Joe into Scooby Doo.
Spooky vibes.
You know what Black Mirror is, though, right?
Yeah, it's like, so like you have a mirror.
So he doesn't know. No,
It's you know, if I were to dumb it down, it's 2010's Twilight Zone,
Yeah.
but mostly surrounding technology.
And is it each season is like a different thing, or each episode is
Every
a
single
different-
episode's a
episode.
different.
Wait, no, I saw the very first episode, and that's why I never watched another
Well,
one.
it's because
Oh,
he
it's
had a
Fuck the
bang the pig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird first episode. I'll
Yeah,
give it that.
that's I would not be
And
the
I've
one
heard
I would.
that.
That would not be the one I would show
If you're
people
gonna like,
first.
yeah, if you're gonna.
Which one would
introduce
you
someone-
show someone first?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of like that they do the like fucking a pig episode first, just to like be like, hey, it's gonna get weird. Like, if you trust us, just like follow along.
I would say the
I've
first
heard
episode
they
I
do
would
that.
show somebody would be the bean one.
That's a good question. The first episode, I would.
Rowan
Yeah.
Atkinson is in this.
Mr. Bean one.
The Mr.
he's a-
Bean one.
He's a genius.
Yeah, if I were to just show someone a Black Mirror episode, that one, it's called the entire history of you.
Is that what the bean one is called?
Yeah,
Okay.
It's where they, if you don't know by the title, it's the one where they introduce this technology where you have this like little like it's like a grain of rice that you implant in yourself, and it can record all your memories as you see them through your eyes, so you can like play them back and just like relive them.
And you can
or
like
whatever.
throw it on
Whoa.
the TV on the wall, so
Yeah.
everybody can see your memory.
Oh, wow.
Like
Yeah.
as thing. So essentially, Black Mirror, Jimmy, just quick, is it's this age's kind of Twilight Zone, sort of.
Mhm.
Even though Twilight Zone came back, didn't it?
Yeah.
But it's similar to
Everything
Twilight Zone, but
comes
it's
back.
Twilight Zone specifically measured towards technology.
Yeah.
in a way,
and our relationship to it.
and yeah, and humans' relationship to it. So it's kind of and most of the time it's here is technology, and this is why maybe this scenario will become problematic.
Uh-huh.
And here's an instance of this becoming problematic.
Yeah.
So the bean one is all the memories forever are like you have access to them now. So
Yeah.
like you know,
I thought this was
Interesting.
an interview that I saw with the creator of Black Mirror. It was either that or a different sci-fi writer or something. But the idea was that you can't just, it's not enough to just introduce a sci-fi idea.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go further and introduce what might be the problem with this. And that's what makes like a script interesting, not just like, what if we could beam from here to there? It's like, but like, what problems might that introduce if we could beam from here to there?
I would assume in a Black Mirror episode, has this been one? I feel like I there's some of them I haven't seen. Some of the episodes just like kind of here and there. Since every episode's kind of standalone,
Yeah.
you
You
hit
just
Netflix
pick
and
and
you hit
choose.
play, and there's a possibility that I've like just missed a couple.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, one of them, I was like, it was a Black Mirror episode. It would be a transporter, and like you'd find out that it's like every single time you like a clone of you like it's created and you die and you become a new person,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like that
Yeah.
would be like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
That is an episode of something. What is that?
That's,
is
Star
that
Trek
Looper?
The Prestige.
It's the
Prestige,
end of the
yeah.
Prestige. Yeah,
Great film.
Spoiler.
yeah, that's literally the end of the movie.
Oh.
Do you have, I mean, other than the
I feel like
beam
that's a
one,
Rick and
I
Morty.
have a favorite,
what is it?
San Junipero,
Yeah, same.
and I think that's a lot of people's favorites.
Yeah.
Because I'll just watch that one then, and then be good.
I would, yeah. You
The only-
probably would
My
be good just
problem
watching
with
that one.
the
The only-
first episode, yeah,
Well, I'll say the only reason why I wouldn't say watch San Junipero first, because in my mind it was it's the pinnacle. Like I think it's the best one.
okay.
So I wouldn't want you to like watch it, think it's amazing, and then watch all the other ones or some of the
Sure.
other ones. You go, well, these aren't nearly as good.
My problem, my problem now is that I watched the first one and then I don't want to watch because it's like,
well, I wouldn't have shown
first
you the
episode
one
was
of the
like,
man banging pigs.
oh man, he might have to bang a pig, and then
Yeah.
it just ramps up for another 40 minutes, and then that's what
and
happens.
then he bangs
I
big.
So it's like
I forget.
not a lot was introduced in between that time.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of
It's
really
like, oh
cool
God,
ones.
Is he going to?
And they do things like they play with like video games, like some kind of stuff. They play with like memory. They play with communication, like maybe like making your loved one into a doll, like that, like all kinds of
Fan
stuff.
of the show and been on a couple times. Jeff Becker has tried to sell me on the show a couple
Okay.
times. He's a big fan.
I will say though, at least for me, there are episodes that really don't hit at all. Like there,
Oh, interesting.
I would agree with you too.
I think this show has some real big lows where it's just like they have an idea, it doesn't work for me, and because the idea doesn't work for me, it's just like, why am I watching this?
Sure.
But since it is like
a couple of Key and Peele sketches.
It's
for
only-
me, but only a couple.
that is almost like the kind of the cool thing about it is if you're watching a show and they're about an hour long a piece, if you're 15 minutes into a show and you're like, I don't
The premise
like this
isn't-
at all, like this isn't
Yeah.
maybe like viscerally don't like it or it's just not jiving with you, just stop watching it, watch the next one, completely different, has no premise with the other one, so like you're
Right.
not like missing, like it's not an X-Files that you have to watch the monster of the week because they might have a little exposition about the story at some point.
Sure.
You're not
Yeah,
gonna
it
miss
is
anything.
fresh.
Right.
And
Wow.
they
Number
did a
3.
choose your own adventure episode. I mean, come on, man.
What? How?
You haven't heard about this? The Bandersnatch?
Oh, I've heard of Bandersnatch.
Yeah, it's literally a
What?
choose your own adventure episode, and you can like go through a bunch
You
of different
just like
endings.
skip ahead.
Yeah, I mean they just,
Just tells you.
they
what
gets
chapter
to,
to go
it,
to?
no, it gets to
Is
a
it a
point in the show.
DVD?
No. It gets to a point in the show, and then like you have like a timer. You have like 10 seconds, and you need to choose a decision, left or right or something. And then by the end of that,
There's
they
at
choose.
there's at least one other
That's
Netflix show
amazing.
that's like that.
That sounds familiar.
Jennifer- Was it Jennifer Aniston in it?
Is that Bird Watch? What is it?
No,
Bird
it's not-
Box?
No, that's
Bird Box?
That's also not.
Oh, that's
Jennifer
not Jennifer Aniston. That's never
That's
mind.
a Speed Girl.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Yeah. I confused them for
yeah,
a
it's
second.
not that. Can I do my number 3?
Huh,
Yeah.
I guess.
You guys ready for it?
If we haven't mentioned it yet, I guess. Go.
You haven't mentioned it, and you won't mention it.
Oh.
Supernatural.
Okay. Yeah. So when
right,
the
Jimmy,
hell
what's your
did
number
this
3?
start? Yeah. When did this show
The
start?
show started in 2005,
Wow.
but it is in its final season as
Oh,
of
it is.
2019.
Okay.
So I think it'll end
Okay.
in 2020,
Uh-huh.
technically.
Yeah.
So it has
Yeah, like
it
the
has
spring of
literally
2020.
been on this entire decade and
Sure.
will outlive this decade.
Outlive us all.
And I mean,
What?
bro, wait, when are we dying?
I mean, the Earth is almost gone, right?
It's not that far gone.
Pretty close.
But in Supernaturals, things are getting hairy. They have to save the world again. I mean, It's two brothers, Sam and Dean Winchester. They're saving the world.
They're just two brothers.
From demons and other such supernatural things. It's just an adventure.
Yeah.
It's a very CW show. I mean, if you've seen superhero shows,
Seen one, you've seen them all.
I mean, for the most part, you have, but like they all kind of change. It's more they're adults, so it's not a teen CW show.
Uh-huh.
The Supernatural is so old that it was on before the CW existed.
Oh, it's a WB?
It's a
The
WB show
WB.
Ooh, nice.
that just continued.
Love it.
It's got amazing music. It's like just classic rock.
What's the show about?
Two demon hunters named Sam and Dean
Okay,
Having a good
got
time.
that are partying.
Just two
So
guys
it's
are
Buffy
having a good
with
time.
two brothers.
It's two, yeah, and it's one of those things where it's just like it's most of the time it's just like a lot of fun. You know, that their banter together is great. The chemistry of everyone on the show is good. And then it's on its 15th season right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I started watching it when
That's
it was
impressive.
in season 9 or 10 is when I started watching the show, and all of it's on Netflix. So I just watched all of it until it caught up, and now I'm watching it week by week in the last season. The only show
Man.
that I'm watching weekly.
Yeah.
And it's
impressive.
I mean, after a while, but they do a very good job of calling back. Everything's interrelated. Like something that happened in season 3 still kind of matters right now in season 15. Stuff that, and sometimes you forget about it, but they bring it back. It's not a show I think I can really sell anybody on.
Yeah. You're in or out.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you have no TV and you mostly only watch the first and last episodes of any TV. The fact that you watch it weekly, I think that says a lot.
I go to cw.com.
That means
and
you watch like the full hour with ads.
I watch ads for this show.
Ads.
That's how much I like
That
this
is
show.
a lot.
You
Like
bought
I
Crest
DVR
for this
CW shows so that I can watch them.
I mean,
so that
it's-
I don't have to watch ads.
It's very very similar. It's not like this at all, but it's like I'm gonna relate it to like X-Files, where like some are Monster of the Week shows and some are story episodes. But no matter what, there's always some sort of story that's important in every episode. The brothers always like talk. If in a couple seasons you don't actually care about these people, because I think the writing's good enough where you do care about these characters, and it's good, and it's not cheesy in a bad way. It's when it's cheesy, it knows it's cheesy, and it's like
That's
good.
fun.
It's good fun camp. They have an episode, like one of my favorite episodes. Maybe this was it's like probably season 9. One of my favorite episodes is Supernatural is technically like a book series in that world
in its own world.
about those two people, because it's written by an author who turns out to be God, by the way. And there's a high school student who's like in love with Supernatural, so she's making a Supernatural play for her like high school. Like that's the play that's happening in her high school. So the whole episode is they show up because they're trying to like kill a demon or something like that, and like this girl's like, wait a minute, I know who you are, like kind of thing. And then it's just like it's just comedy and funny, but it matters to what happens later. And at the beginning, like the title screen, like when it's like Supernatural, like the beginning splash is like a different like image every season. It's based on what the season's about, because every season has like a plot that arches the season, which then arches the whole thing. But in that one episode in season 9 or 10, it shows every single splash that has ever happened in the whole series to date. So it just goes where it only does it like one time. It's funny. It's great. I'm done. I could talk about this forever. So I can't really say. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
if you like it, you like it.
If you're listening right now, we just edited out 30 minutes of Josh talking about Supernatural.
It's so good. I know it's not gonna like be on most people's top 10s, but I just like I like it so much that it needed to be.
I mean, the fact that it's gone on as long as it has.
they have a
somebody's watching this show.
Yeah.
there's a Supernatural con.
An entire con for one show. All right, we're on number 3.
Yep.
Number 3.
Parks and Rec.
Oh yeah.
Somebody's something.
I had this at 5.
5.
Mhm.
I just think it's excellent. So it's 09 to 2015,
Mhm.
and I kind of figured the fact that it spent 1 year outside was okay because most sitcoms take like a year anyway
Sure.
to get going, get the characters.
I don't know
developed.
that I've ever seen the first season in its entirety.
That's fine, and
Yeah.
and that's fine because by the second, I feel like the same way about like The Office. By the second season, characters are like more developed.
Yeah.
And they're really starting to take off. And the characters in this show are so excellent.
Mm-hmm.
You love every single one of them for various reasons.
And like
Ron
the show,
Swanson
like
alone.
the show itself, like takes care of the characters. It seems like the writers love the characters.
Yeah.
Like they aren't like treated like garbage. Even like Gary.
Right. Right. Even him. Yeah. Even they don't even know his real name for like 5 seasons.
Amy Poehler might be a national treasure too.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's great.
for sure. She really is. Did you guys see? So not really a spin-off, but also kind of a spin-off. There's a Nick Offerman, Amy Poehler reality show.
Heard about it, never watched
crafting.
it. Yeah, I love
My
Nick
wife and I
Offerman.
watched it weekly because so Nick Offerman's his character Ron Swanson is really into working with his hands, and that's also Nick Offerman in real life. And
Nick
so,
Offerman like has a wood shop.
yeah,
Like a real
he
yeah.
actually makes beautiful like wood projects and stuff. So they did this craft thing because he's really into making things, and she knows nothing about it. She's just hilarious as Amy Poehler, and then they have people make stuff, and it's a reality show around it. It was great. What else?
I think it had one of the best finales ever, and like maybe
Ooh.
along with that, one of the most interesting final seasons ever.
It was a
Yeah.
final season that it did a different thing
Yeah,
that I think
Yeah.
a normal show would have really messed up,
yeah.
and it
Yeah.
didn't mess it up.
Because in the second to last season, in like the last moments of the finale of that second to last season, they do a time jump ahead, like maybe like 3 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then for that last season, they just continue on from there in that time jump. So it's like
yeah,
2 years or something ahead from when the season actually aired.
yeah, and technology has very much advanced in that time,
Yeah.
which is really fun.
Yeah. So they make a lot of jokes about that, but it's just like, it just feels like more of a finality because you've jumped ahead and like things are starting to get moving, I guess. And then in that finale, they do a lot of like flash forwards, so you get to see what the characters are doing years
Yeah.
into the future. It's just, I feel like really tidied up everything you would ever want to see about these characters.
It's an extremely good show.
It's just
Yeah.
great. It's just good all around. I mean, and in the same way, I eventually bumped The Office off just because so much of it is in the 2000s
It's
decade.
more of an art show.
But that show, it ended with like a whole season that you could just skip. This show like is just good. Every season is good and watchable.
Cool. I think we've said enough. If you're watching Big Bang Theory, stop and just start watching Parks and Rec. All right.
Please stop giving
Just switch over.
Chuck Lorre money.
Switch over. Joe, we're coming up. We're at the
Coming up.
penultimate.
Yeah. Number 2?
Yep.
My number 2 is Community.
Yeah, which was my number 6.
Okay.
But I get why it's your number 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's just probably one of my favorite shows of all time. We've already talked about Dan Harmon.
We've already done Community, right?
We did Community as
On
part of
this
this
show.
show.
Go back and listen to in the bio, link in bio.
There
Yeah.
really isn't a Community episode that I haven't seen that I haven't liked. I haven't
Yeah.
seen a whole lot of them. I keep trying to like watch it, but I'm just bad at watching TV.
That was one of the only shows I've gone back and watched all of.
Yeah. I think the thing I appreciate about Community, other than it's just like a show that I like, is that it really did a lot of different things because Like for the first season, it tried to be a conventional network TV show, and then by like season 2 and season 3, it just dumped all of that and just said like, what if we just made this a crazy show because we're gonna get canceled anyway. And then season 4, it has different showrunners, and that's a completely different thing. And then I think
But still has its moments.
yeah, it has its moments. And then season 5, they bring back Dan Harmon, and then it's like more weirdness. And then season 6 is on Yahoo. So
Was
it's
that
just
the
a
only
completely
show
different
to
thing.
air on Yahoo? I
Can't think of
couldn't
any
name
other
another
Yahoo
one.
show. Yeah, but yeah, it's just it goes through so many different eras, and because of those different things, like they're just swinging for the fences in every season at least, where it's just I don't know.
It's I mean, it's brilliant. It's really smart. Joel McHale is Joel McHale. I don't know what to say about that. If you watch Talk Soup, it's literally the same dude.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he have did you see the Joel McHale show?
Yes, on Netflix.
Yeah.
I actually really liked it. I'm surprised
okay.
I'm surprised they didn't keep doing it because it was essentially Talk Soup, but for
Yeah.
Netflix. Yeah.
And that's what he does best.
Yeah,
He's just a
just being
snarky,
snarky.
tall white dude.
Yeah, handsome and snarky. He's great.
Oh man, that cast of Community is really incredible.
Yeah, jump started Alison Brie's career. Joel McHale,
Who
like we said,
casted
and,
this show? Give them an Emmy.
Gillian Jacobs.
Yeah,
I almost said Anderson.
Danny Pudi.
Danny Pudi, of
It's
course.
incredible.
Chevy Chase.
yeah.
And
The
Donald Glover.
incorrigible Chevy Chase.
Donald
Oh,
Glover.
and also Donald Glover, who can do no wrong in the world. I really wanted to put Atlanta on this.
Are we
But it's also new.
I haven't seen enough of it.
are we on to number
I
my,
felt like I
my
haven't
turn?
seen
Have we
enough
talked
of it.
about
We're
enough
just
of this?
wrapping
I mean,
up
I
Community.
guess.
Because if we are, my number 2 is Atlanta.
Oh
No way!
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, actually?
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
That blows my mind.
I've only seen 2 episodes.
I
of
love
it,
Donald Glover.
The first season is so
I think there's
good.
been 2 seasons of it,
Uh-huh.
but it's one
Yeah.
of those. It's one of those like it started in like 2016.
Yeah.
I think I have it in my big list.
You're, like,
Atlanta, yeah,
crunching.
started in 2016. It's 2019. There's only been 2 seasons. I think the 3rd season's on its way.
Yeah.
But it's one of those shows. It's going very, very slowly,
Mhm.
but it's like it's just run by him, and everything that like I'm just like so like just immersed with like how cool and talented Donald Glover is.
It's another one of those shows where it's just one person's just vision.
Yeah,
Of what a TV
Yeah.
show should
and
be.
it's kind of a weird thing. Maybe I mean, I think it's more entertaining. Sorry, Joe, than like Master of None to me. Like just in general, but it's one of those things where it's like nothing that happens in that show I can relate to at all. But like this gripped me,
Yeah.
and it just like, and that's why I put it on there because like, yeah, I know it's
And
still
listeners,
going.
Josh is the whitest person you've ever.
Minnesota embodied.
What is this?
But I do love Paperboy,
Mm-hmm.
so leave me alone. Paperboy. But it's just such a good show. Like when I think when I saw it, it was season 2. Season 2 hadn't come out yet, I think, but all season 1 was done. So I watched that, and then season 2 came out, and I was like, "Yup, keep going."
I haven't seen season 2 yet. That was the other reason
It doesn't
didn't
get worse.
The things that I've
on
heard
my
is that it
list.
just gets crazier and crazier and better.
Yeah, it does. It just keeps going, and it's just like
There's
it's
some like wild episodes that are like just shot and like formatted just totally differently. That it's like that kind of makes it each episode.
and
kind
that's
of
why
its
it's
own thing.
cool. It's so compelling, and it just seems like Donald Glover is kind of like making his own thing, and he's making his art. And I feel like I'm seeing
Yeah.
him as like, this is what I want to do, like, you know. And with, I mean, obviously he's on Community, completely different. He's doing
Yeah.
this, and this is like the story he wants to tell. He's a rapper who's amazing, who's doing
Did he
crazy
say
stuff.
that Childish Gambino is going to be done?
I don't know.
I thought I heard.
I don't want to
that.
hear bad things like that, so I don't listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Did he release any songs under Donald Glover, or was it all just
He
Childish
released
Gambino?
like a Childish Gambino song last summer, I thought.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things that's hard to say. Donald Glover's character is friends with an up and coming rapper of sorts. He's got a multitude of his own problems with relationship with a significant other to like his like kind of tumultuous friendship with this rapper and trying to like kind of just make it in the world because he's kind of down in the dirt, kind of in the slums, trying to make it.
Yeah.
And it's just good. It's just dramatic and like you can just tell it's what he wanted to make.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of fulfilling like one of his things.
And that it comes from a place of like this is what he knows and like has experienced, at least. Yeah. Maybe not firsthand or secondhand, but like, you know, it feels real even if it's fantastical.
Yeah, even within like the gaze of like TV, like the gloss of like TV shimmer, you know, like it still feels like down to earth and good.
Yeah, it feels true.
Yeah. So Atlanta, watch it.
I've only seen 2 episodes.
Or don't. I don't care. I'm gonna keep watching it.
Childish Gambino, the summer pack was 2018.
Well, Jimmy, it's your number 2.
Oh, my number 2.
What is your penultimate?
My penultimate is GOT.
Okay.
Game of Thrones.
Which you had at...
I had that at number 7.
Okay.
I mean, perfectly within the decade. 2011 to 2019. 8 seasons. I thought each season was brilliant. All the haters out there, the haters the last season. I think you're ridiculous. If you like, okay, so I didn't read any of the source material before this.
Okay.
Before this show, which, you know, I guess.
I mean, that's actually
you should probably never do in some ways, but especially if you like to read, definitely not.
I mean, it's definitely harder to go from TV to book, I would say, than book to TV.
Yeah, you have all this imagery already.
Yeah.
But if you're an HBO show getting the money that you're getting, it's probably going to be better than my imagination because there's so much money being thrown at it.
I mean, one of the reasons why I put it lower than I did, I thought it was great. I loved it. I mean, I love like fantasy. Like kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm already into that nerd shit.
Kind of
the way it is. But I read all the books and then I basically essentially started watching the show. I saw seasons 1 and 2, and I just started watching the show when it was being live at 6.
Okay.
So then I watched 6 on to the end when it was done. So like, you know,
click the link below for the podcast on Game of Thrones.
Yeah, we did did that as well.
Smash that like button.
And I liked it. It's just a good. I don't know. It's a solid, good story.
Yeah.
It's a good if you like dragons and mystical things and
J.R.R. Martin,
kings and queens fighting for a thing. I mean, it's
and dragons and the whatnot.
It's gonna be great in like 3 years when I'm like deep into Game of Thrones. And it's like, oh man, you guys seen this episode? Oh, it was crazy.
You see the one where like the lady like killed the dude.
Yeah.
I think it takes for TV or film in any way. I think it takes some special people to pull off the amount of characters that a show like this has and keep it like so compelling. There are characters you don't see for a whole season and then they come back, you're like, oh, what are these guys up to? And to keep that interesting and like so compelling that the storytelling is just incredible. And to try to bring along all that stuff, they started to do stuff out of kind of chronology of the books from what I understand, right? Because they drop whole character storylines for a while just to try to fit it all in. Just the way it's all mashed together, it's masterfully done, and they started to go beyond what what is his actual name?
J.R.R. Tolkien.
George R.R. Martin.
G.R.R. Martin. To end the way it did, I don't know.
Martin.
Martin.
Lion
it
Roar
was
Martin.
it was good. As someone who read all the books so far, because then it surpassed it.
right.
I think it did a very good job of portraying what I kind of felt while I was watching the books. It went above it, and they did a fine job. People are mad about some of the stuff,
so butthurt.
but I don't care about those people.
They were so butthurt, but
know
they
what?
did exactly what the characters would do.
You gotta, some people like
you
some
want
stuff, some
Jon
people
Snow
don't.
to be the good guy, but that's not his MO. So why would he do that?
I'm not gonna fight that fight. If you want to be
All
mad,
right,
you can
fine.
be mad. But
Tweet at me.
but I would say overall, even if you're mad about the end of the show, I think that the journey of the show was great.
Yeah.
And it was very HBO. Like, if you like
Yeah.
HBO shows and you like fantasy shows, you'll like this show. But if you don't like those type of things, I mean, I feel like everyone kind of knows what an HBO show is in general.
And,
Sure.
and endings are hard. It's not often that a show will live up to what you wanted it to be in the ending, just because you don't want a show to end. So it
Right.
happens.
No, yeah. I mean,
True.
in the end, nobody really technically wants their show to end, even if they have an ending.
Yep.
Like, they're like, well, but if I can get like 2 more seasons out of this, that's a lot more money, and I can keep doing something I love.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And as a viewer, you want to see, what else happens to the characters.
Yeah. yeah, but sometimes you just got to end it. So it's good. Game of Thrones, number 2.
Game of Thrones number 2.
Maybe.
Not on my list.
Yeah.
So do
Number
we all
one.
just have the same number 1?
I
Or if you don't have this number 1,
I mean, I know we do.
Joe just assumes.
Do you have, Jimmy, do you have Joe's number 1?
I don't.
oh, I can't wait
It wasn't
to hear
even
your
in-
number 1 that hasn't been named by
It
either
hasn't
of us.
been named. Okay,
All right,
I mean,
stay
Yeah,
tuned. Stay
I'm
tuned,
gonna
viewers.
I'm gonna hold my breath on
because
it.
yours is going to be the
I'm gonna
last
hold
one.
my breath.
Joe, with me, would you like to say our number 1?
Yeah.
By the way, listeners, we haven't discussed this. We just know what Joe's is. So
you knew what it was gonna be.
It was clear.
Okay, ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Sesame
Breaking
Street.
Bad.
Oh no.
The HBO.
HBO Sesame Street. No, Breaking Bad. I did
Breaking
Breaking
Bad.
Bad.
Burba.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the chem. That's the chem table.
I mean, we've talked about Breaking Bad a lot. I mean, we did an episode on Breaking Bad. We talk about Breaking Bad even when it's not a Breaking Bad episode. I don't know if it
So
makes
much.
sense to talk more about this show. Have you seen El Camino?
Yes.
Did you like it?
Mhm.
I liked
Is
it.
that a spin?
It's a Netflix
Aaron
movie.
Paul movie.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, that just takes place like just after the end of
I've
Breaking
heard
Bad.
varying things.
I liked it. It was definitely very good, very well done. It just, I think people might have just had high expectations for it. It doesn't
Or
really,
just maybe different expectations. I think maybe
Yeah.
they thought they were just going to get more Breaking Bad,
yeah.
and I mean, it's
So does it
it's
follow like a different
it's
characters?
Jesse. It
follows
basically
Jesse.
tells
Jesse.
you what happens to Jesse.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
kind of
doesn't, it doesn't really add much to the show or to the character, but you get to hang out for 90 minutes with Jesse.
And
that's
also, I think
great.
that's a good thing because
Nice.
in no way does it like go back to Breaking Bad and change things that
Yeah.
you already think are thought.
Yeah.
Really.
The one new thing is maybe you get a little bit more with
Skinny
that?
Pete.
no, what's the redheaded guy?
Oh, Todd.
Todd, yeah, you get a little bit more Todd time, and man, is that fucked.
Yeah. I mean, but
Okay.
even that feels like I was like, yeah, I feel like that's what Todd was like.
Yeah,
Like
you
and
can already
it's more
deduce.
Todd. But Breaking Bad itself, what do we say that we haven't already said about it?
Probably
Yeah.
the only thing I could say about it is that it's just it has to be at the top of my like 2010s list because it for me personally it just changed the way that I watch and consume TV.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, it was just like episodes of The Office or something that I just enjoy watching a thing, and like Breaking Bad was really the beginning for me of like watching a thing and trying to deduce like meaning from it and like trying to look at the way that they produce things and shoot things and it really changed the way that I consume like popular culture really in this like more analytical way where I just like there's just so much to watch for in Breaking Bad that I'd never thought about in the ways that I'd previously watched TV.
Yeah. Vince Gilligan is the creator of this, and Vince Gilligan had a big role in X-Files when it was on. And X-Files is one of my favorite shows of all time. And it doesn't surprise me one bit that Breaking Bad is also one of my favorite shows of all time. Not to mention, obviously, just of the tweens of the 2000s or whatever. Because I can see a lot of that. Like they have like the Fly episode, for example, of Breaking Bad, which is just almost like a throwaway. But it's like some people's favorite episode of the show. But it has a lot of story in it. I have like a weird fan theory that Walt's dead that whole time, like, you know, like kind of thing. Like you could like make a I gotta write my thesis on that kind of thing. But like there's some kind of like fun off episodes, and then there's very, very important, it's very intense, and it's like really methodical and well written and thought out,
well directed. I mean, the Fly episode you mentioned was directed by Ryan Johnston, and he did a bunch of the Ozymandias is one of the it's not penultimate, but it's like 3 from the end.
Is that the Star Wars guy?
Yeah.
And he
Excellent.
did the Star Wars that everyone hates, apparently.
Yeah, the Star Wars that everyone hates,
I think
and
that's
some of the
dumb.
best.
Which I think that's dumb too, because I thought it was a really good Star Wars too.
Yeah.
And
some of the best Breaking Bad episodes, and it's just like the amount of talent that went into the show is just insane.
And Bryan Cranston is
Ryan Johnson is
amazing.
Excellent.
How about this? Say something bad about Breaking Bad. What do you got? I got
Makes
one.
me sad.
The female characters are pretty underwritten. I will say that, because you got both of the
Skylar?
wives, Skylar and
Damn it,
Murray.
yeah. Is that how you remember her name? Because that's
Yeah,
how I remember her name.
you gotta say damn it.
You gotta say damn it.
And that's kind of indicative of what I'm talking about, is just like the wives are just like nagging wives, and like they're trying to like
I'll be honest. I like when
Yeah.
I initially think of like Skylar, I initially just think I don't like her. And it's one of those like
Like the character or the actress?
and that's
or...
the actress is fine. Like
Okay.
I mean, no,
Actress
not like not
probably,
like I don't like the actress, but
who
like
knows?
she was in an episode of Seinfeld once, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
But and that's the thing I'm like trying to think is like, do I not like her character?
Yeah.
Or do I not like her character
She's written to
because
be
she's
unlikable.
supposed to be unlikable? And like I don't like her because I'm like, oh, they're making me not like her. Or do I not like her because I'm like, I really just don't like this character?
Hard to say.
It's like a weird thing where I can't.
And I'm
figure
not
out
even
which
trying
one.
to say that every show needs to have like likable female characters. I just think it's a failure of this show that like I think they tried to make compelling female characters and they just didn't hit. And I think they tried to do that because in Better Call Saul they do a much better job of that.
Rhea Seehorn is a very
Excellent.
likable female
I
character.
was wondering if Better Call Saul would be on anyone's list.
I thought about it, but then I also
know
thought
it's
about
also
like,
not done.
and
It's
then I
just
was
not
like,
over,
should I bunch these two together? And then I thought that would be doing Breaking Bad a disservice, even though like I'm really liking.
I do
Better
want
Call Saul.
I do want to go to my like honorable mentions after this. We got time, right? This will be a 2-parter.
Probably going to be a 2-parter. Yeah.
I didn't realize that Ryan Johnson directed
Oh, now Jimmy's
Stuff
in.
of
Star Wars
this.
guy did it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch Breaking Bad.
Okay, well I do like that Star Wars more than other people do. I'm a big fan of Brick.
Is that a Ryan Johnson
She's a
thing?
brick in a... No, sorry.
The Ben Folds
The Ben Folds
Johnson
He
thing?
he directed it, and it's kind of an indie film, and it's with JGL, and it's like a whodunit.
It's a good
but
movie.
they're like in high school.
I love
it's really
a
great.
whodunit.
You
When I
should
realized-
watch Brick. You would love it.
When I realized the Scream movies were a whodunit, then I was totally in as a 10-year-old.
You like so Brick is it's like a whodunit in like a 40s like mobster 20s to 40s whatever mobster style, but it's like in a modern context in a high school. So JGL is like a young dude.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt for the uninitiated.
Yeah. And he's like his like the way he talks is like an old-timey detective speak.
You see?
God damn it. I walked right into that. Anyway, it's just excellent. Also, Knives Out looks good, so I would like to see that
Cool.
film.
Well, I mean, yeah, we've said enough of Breaking Bad this entire length of all
can't
the
ever
podcasts
say
we've ever
enough.
done. So, Jimmy, you've got a number one left.
Oh, I do.
Sell us.
Okay. So remember when I made you guys watch The West Wing, and I was kind of bummed that I think we were just all kind of sleepy that pod.
Okay.
And so Aaron Sorkin is of West Wing fame. He wrote that,
Heard of him.
directed that, created that. He created a show in this decade called Newsroom on HBO. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
Is this your number one?
It's my number one. It is 3 seasons of amazing Aaron Sorkin.
Walk and talks.
Some walk and talks for sure. Jeff Daniels. If you have a Facebook profile, you've probably seen
I don't use Facebook.
the post of Jeff Daniels talking about why America is not the
like-
greatest
yeah, it's not
country in the
great,
world
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Every listener who
totally
has a
seen that.
Facebook was like, "Oh yeah, that clip."
Yeah.
That's from the pilot of this show,
Uh-huh.
and it's an excellent monologue
Can you give me
diatribe.
Can you give me like a 3 to 4 sentence? What is this show about?
This show is about a newsroom. It's basically it's about a cast of a news show led by Jeff Daniels, and they're like on a network and trying to actually tell the news and not be skewed by its network, to just tell things like it is.
So they're not Fox or CNN.
Jeff Daniels is Jeff Daniels is an actual Republican news anchor that hates the Tea Party and what his entire party has become. So more of kind of a centric, maybe political person.
Okay. I think I've seen things about the show, but I couldn't tell you if I've seen
Yeah.
a full episode about it. But it definitely have seen the show, been
Yeah.
very interested in
Yeah.
the show.
It's
And
great
apparently it's
drama.
your favorite show.
A lot
the
of
decade.
feels. I think it was just 3 seasons. I think it's just perfect. Olivia Munn.
Oh, she's fun.
Is in it. She's very good. She's got a great character because she's obviously very young and beautiful, but she comes on as a economic analyst, and she's very, very intelligent. So she just has a really cool character in that way.
Do you remember prominent usage of the song "Fix You" by Coldplay?
In this show?
Yeah.
No, is that a thing?
I think so. Unless I'm thinking of the wrong show. I just read some article about the best Coldplay songs, and they're like, "Fix You" is the best Coldplay song, and Aaron Sorkin agrees. Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
So yeah, it was
don't-
used in some sort of montage. I think.
I
Let me
don't
try to look
recall.
it
I'm
up.
sure that's true. It has some excellent. Sam Waterston plays a guy for the network, and he's just a voice of reason and wisdom. Do you know Sam Waterston?
I don't think so.
He's been in a lot of things. He was a big Law and Order guy. He's also in a Netflix show where he's what is it? Is it Grace and Frankie? Yeah. With if you haven't seen Grace and Frankie, with Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin and Sam Waterston and Martin Sheen.
I've seen a few episodes of that.
It's Martin Sheen and Sam Waterston were best friends for a long time, and then came out as an older gay couple. It's incredible.
I don't know if I've ever even heard of that show.
It's hilarious. and very well written.
Oh, it's season 1, episode 4, where they use "Fix You" in a montage.
Huh? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There's a lot of other great people in it. The cast is great. The characters are great. There's a lot of intrigue, a lot of ins and outs.
I'm interested no matter what, just because it's your top one. So I'm
Appreciate
interested no
that.
matter what. We need to contabulate. That's a word, right?
Oh, we
The
need to do some math.
scores, because we actually need to have a top 10 list to
Oh,
end this
okay,
thing
yeah.
out. So I'm gonna contabulate really quick, and I'll be back. Like
We win it.
right before I'm done saying these words, probably.
And we're back.
All right.
And we're back.
I'm 90
Ooh, it's been a while.
That just
It's
makes
been
it
a
so you
while.
can't edit this.
I'm 90. Well, I'm 90.
Man.
I'm 99% sure that I added all of this up correctly.
Okay.
But I'm using numbers on Mac, which is not Microsoft
No
Excel,
one knows how to use
and
numbers.
it's just fucking
It's
terrible.
just called numbers.
It's called numbers.
Nobody knows how to use numbers.
That's what they called the software.
Yeah,
Ain't
it's
nobody.
whatever.
It's just a calculator.
It's stupid and terrible and awful. So do you want me to start all the way at the bottom, or do you just want me to start at number 10?
Just start at 10, I think.
All
Yeah.
right. Cool. I'm very excited about this.
That's how you need a top 10 list.
Number 10. So, listeners, we've done this for over 2 hours. Probably 2 days.
Drum roll, please,
This-
from every listener.
This is our
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
list of top 10 TV shows in the tweens.
In the
Uh,
tweens.
According to FNL.
2010 to 2019 FNL's top 10 TV shows of the decade. Number 10, Supernatural.
Boo.
Number 10
Just
with
kidding.
a bullet.
I put it high enough on my list that me alone got this into the top 10, which I
Wow.
love.
Nice.
Number 9, Atlanta.
Nice.
Also just on your list, yeah.
Number 8, Newsroom.
Hey.
You did
That's
it,
for
Jim.
you, Jeff Daniels.
History.
Love you, Jeff Daniels. Speed was a great movie.
And now we're gonna get into our agreeables.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
Number 7 was 30 Rock.
Okay.
Excellent.
Number 6 was Key and Peele.
All right.
Nice.
Number 5 was the ever divisive Game of Thrones.
Uh-huh.
Number 4 was Parks and Recreation.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
As it should be.
Number 3, Community.
Nice.
Okay.
Number 2, Black Mirror,
Uh-huh.
the diabolical sketch show, essentially. And to no surprise, I think, to anybody that watches TV or listens to this podcast, number
Frasier.
1 is Breaking Bad.
Cranston gang.
Yeah, Cranston for life.
Cranston for president.
We're still waiting for you to hit us up, Brian Cranston.
Come hang.
Come hang.
Yeah.
So that's the list.
So I'm
Yeah.
not surprised by the things that we had in common. I am surprised by the things we didn't have in common.
That's how it goes.
I am very surprised that Jimmy didn't have Breaking Bad at all on his list. But I do know
Here's
that you
the
said
thing.
like you try to watch it and it like hurt your heart. So you
I
stopped
watched the
watching it.
first season. I watched a lot of the first season while Josh was watching, I'm pretty sure. And
Bravo.
after every episode, I don't think I could breathe. And I thought, I like breathing.
Yeah.
And so,
You just woke up a half an hour later in a cold sweat. And you're like, where am I?
like, it hits you right in all the feels.
I was initially surprised to see you have Newsroom at the top, but
Yeah.
I guess I should have guessed that you're a Sorkin head. You love the
Total
West
Sorkin
Wing
head.
too.
You're a
so-
Sorkin head. But hey, you know what? That's good because I think that at least tells the audience that we aren't all agreeable with each other and like we have a lot of different things. Like I fought hard for Supernatural, Jimmy fought hard for Newsroom, and Joe, you just stuck with the middle.
Yep,
and
just,
went
just
with
very
Breaking Bad.
agreeable. Jimmy, how do you feel about The Social Network?
The film?
Yeah.
Didn't the Papa Roach guy do the score and get a Grammy for it?
Roach. No, man. 9 Inch Nails.
That
Trent
was Trent
Reznor.
Reznor.
Nine Inch
dude.
Nails.
Don't you just got Papa Roach dude and Trent Reznor?
Okay,
Oh
I
my
said that
God.
because literally, like, within the last 24 hours, someone said that to me. And I thought it was
Yeah,
weird.
it's Papa Roach guy, right? Yeah.
And which was funny is already mentioned. It was Jeff Becker, friend and and longtime
pod.
listener and
God.
what would you call it? Guest host of this show said that it was the pop because he plays bass sometimes, and he was playing the like Green Day Bennett, and I was like, are you playing Papa Roach? Because it's the slit, because they stole it.
I'll break my life into pieces.
Exactly.
So you don't like Social Network because it has Papa Roach?
No, I think the film is good. I like Jesse
Okay.
Eisenhower. What's his name?
Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg.
Eisenberg.
It was written by Sorkin, so just wondering if you it's one of my favorite movies.
I really
ever.
like the Social Network.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
love
own
it.
it on Divid.
I love it.
Cool.
I wanted to mention that none of us had Mad Men.
No.
Yeah,
None of
that's ridiculous.
None of us had The Americans. None of
Also
us had The
ridiculous.
Leftovers.
Well, Kerry Russell ruined that show.
So a lot of people are mad with this top 10 list. show.
Absolutely.
No, there was a lot of another honorable mention that I've never seen anything of, but I know it's one of our friends' favorite shows, literally of all time, is Leftovers.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of people love the Leftovers.
What is that?
Well,
It's an HBO show.
Well, here's the deal: is I
okay.
don't know,
Okay.
and I mean
Okay,
the
okay,
problem
okay.
with that is we're making top 10s lists. I'm not gonna put a show that someone else said was great if I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, these are shows that I want to see. I mean, seen Mad Men, and I think Mad Men is good, but I think it just fell off too hard and it didn't stick with me.
Yeah.
There
There was a lot of shows. I have a lot of runners up like that in that same vein where I saw a season or two that were great, and then I fell off of. So I couldn't really say that they were better than the shows that I stuck with and loved.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say True Detective was one that I kind of
Okay.
maybe thought about because True Detective
Yeah.
season 1 is one of the best seasons of TV.
Oh, for sure.
It's so good.
Really great.
But season 2 is a pile of crap.
Yeah.
And then I never saw season 3
Who's
because season
the-
2 was so bad.
I've heard good things about
Season
season
1
3.
is because each one is follows a different character.
All right.
different-
right.
Yeah. Okay. Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
So who was season 2?
Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, it's Vince Vaughn and Colin something.
Colin
Hanks.
first. Colin Hay. And then season 3 is Marshala.
Mahershala Ali.
I literally don't even know
Marshall
who's in
Ali.
season 3.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's the baddie in season 1 of Luke Cage.
I could have seen that if I would have actually watched all
Green
of
Book?
Fleabag.
Uh-huh.
That might have made my list.
Maybe.
Because I really liked it, but I haven't watched it all, so I didn't want to
Yeah.
put that in there.
There's a lot of top lists.
This is me just kind of defending myself against the audience.
Sure.
Right
Yeah.
now. So I thought that might be good. I thought about Stranger Things almost.
Yeah.
That's one of my
I really
fell off.
I really like that show. It's just I don't think it's as good as any of the other
As the
shows
other
yet.
ones they had. Yeah.
I mean, but time will tell.
I had a lot of honorable mentions for just shows that aren't done yet. I had Succession, which is 2 seasons deep and will probably go for a while. It's a show on HBO. Ozark on Netflix,
Ooh,
which started in
yeah.
2017.
I've only seen
Jason
season
Bateman.
1
Yeah.
and 1 or 2 episodes of
One
season
and a
2.
half.
Yeah,
Same.
but I really like Ozark.
They're 2 seasons deep. Probably will keep going.
I love Jason Bateman.
Yeah, that's great.
And what's the gal's name? She's a national treasure as well.
I can't remember her name.
Laura
she's-
Dern.
No.
No, it's
Shit.
she's Frasier's love interest at the end of Frasier.
It's like,
Joe, you wouldn't know.
man,
You've never
I
seen
mix
Frasier.
up Laura Dern and this lady all the
It's
time.
killing me.
But yeah. Anymore? Honorables?
Better Call Saul, obviously.
Yeah.
Still continuing. Rick and Morty.
Laura Linney.
Linney.
Yep.
Edit that back into where
Rick and
it-
Morty and
Excellent.
Last Week Tonight. Which,
like John Stewart?
yeah, John Oliver.
Wait, John
yeah.
Oliver.
I mean, not really a show you think of as an episodic show, but
Yeah.
I think just for
So good though.
a show that fits the preteens or whatever we're calling this decade, it's just like it
I mean,
fits,
it's a show on TV, so it totally works. You
fits
know?
the streaming model. It fits, I like that they do this like one big topic every episode.
I mean,
and it's,
unlike how I kind of assume, I kind of put Key and Peele as like a YouTube only kind of thing.
mhm.
I think of Last Week Tonight as an HBO show, but every Monday I get to watch the main topic on YouTube every week.
and it's like 20 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, and so like I kind of go both. I identify within both realms where.
Yeah. It's
There's
a
the other one.
very right now show. It's not a show that would have existed in this form in 2006 or
Correct.
something. But yeah, just not done yet, so I didn't have it on my list.
Nice. I had ones that were already said on people's lists, like The Walking Dead and Atlanta.
Yeah.
I also
list.
had some that, and I also said Stranger Things, but for a similar reason, I never watched season 3.
Season 3 is the best season of Stranger Things.
Really?
Yes, 100%.
Interesting.
The things get stranger.
Yeah.
Wow.
I haven't seen it. I'm just kidding.
I could call season 3 Stranger Things.
I could, and I thought about that show because I could see that show not going much longer, like on purpose. Like,
well, I mean,
to
it's just a bunch of
close it
kids
up.
too. How long can you have
Yeah,
a bunch
how
of
long
kids?
can you have kid
go?
actors? I never saw season 3. My wife blew through it without me, and then I just never watched
I mean, yeah.
it. I also had Bob's Burgers, I said, which I just knocked off just because it's not done, and I hope it never ends. It's the best. I also said Archer,
Great.
which I could also see that show wrapping up sooner rather than
it's
later.
kind of the reason why I put Rick and Morty in there instead of I thought about things like Bob's Burgers and Archers, but I put Rick and Morty in there because it's a cartoon show for adults like all these
Yeah.
other ones, but it really separates itself in having that like actual story arc and like repercussions,
Yeah.
whereas nothing in Bob's Burgers carries over really. Nothing in Archer. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. I mean, it does it, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Not in the way like Rick and Morty's literal world-ending things.
Rick
happen.
and Morty doesn't have H. John Benjamin though.
Oh, not yet.
He's so good.
Not yet.
Also, oh man, I never remember her name. She's Louise in Bob's Burgers.
Uh-huh.
She's also, I think her name is Mel in Flight of the Conchords.
Oh yeah, her.
Which you'll see on my aughts best of when
Yeah.
we do that
I
pod.
do. I had those. I
she's
had those
incredible.
DVDs of that.
She's
show,
also
so.
in a little bit of Mad Men. She's one of the
Oh, funny.
telephone operators. But anyway, so my only other one that isn't done yet is The Good Place. Have you watched?
Love The
any of
Good Place.
that?
I've only seen the
it's
first
great.
season, but I did dig it.
I've seen
still
all.
very
I've seen all
good.
3. I kind of think it's really
it's on
really
right
good.
now. It's very
Oh,
good.
Okay, it's really really good. It has a chance to really not be good if they did it like wrong. You
Yeah,
know,
uh-huh.
like I still kind of think even though it's proven itself to be a really good show, I think for some
Like
reason
if it goes on,
if it keeps going or something, it could really ruin itself.
Yeah.
And so
this season has been excellent.
this
Season
new
4.
okay. Once again, like I won't watch it until it gets on Hulu or Netflix or whichever one it's on.
Yeah,
once it gets
it's
pooped
on
out there.
It's on Hulu. So the nice thing about Hulu versus Netflix is that you usually a show airs, and if they have it like contracted, it's up that night
Yeah.
or the next day or whatever.
I'm not there yet.
You could easily watch this season.
Cool. Well, this has been a journey that we've taken on.
Taken it together,
It's obviously been very different than our normal episodes, but hope that you guys liked it. Listeners, I guess Joe and Jimmy, I hope you liked it too. But
Nah.
if there's obviously shows that some people out there like love and we've never seen, you know, if we haven't seen it, we weren't going to vote on it. But we want to know what your favorite shows of the decade have been. Let us know.
Follow the rules.
Yeah, there's
The
rules.
rules that we
Follow 'em.
clearly follow.
Yeah, but let us know what you think about our list or what you would put on the list and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Let us know what you think about Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, how good that is.
Look.
Look, Jimmy, your list is really good, but I really think that was a misstep. Hit us up at fndelpodcast@gmail.com on the Twitters and all that kind of stuff. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week for most likely a regular now episode of First and Last.
Yeah. When it's my turn, we watch Sons of Anarchy. Bitches.
Show you.
Let us forget that it's a show you like before we do it. But we'll see you then. Goodbye.